Hi.
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 Yeah. So yeah, hey, you know
Hi.
Happy
this
Tuesday.
day, is it a happy Tuesday? I mean, is it really happy?
It
It's been
is. My
raining.
parents
It's
are
been
Well,
here.
today is kind of like
And
oh,
they're healthy.
Revenge of the Sith Day.
well,
Yeah.
I think it kind of was. I was outside. It was all good, and then it started raining on me, and I'm like, it's not Saturday. I'm not supposed to get wet. So
Right?
anyhow,
So
hi.
I got a funny story.
Which
good.
one?
So I have been getting evaluated, doing my VA evaluations, and I had one, and I was so adamant that it was yesterday. I was like, I had to leave or work early. I have to get to Tulsa, blah, 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 right? I get down there. It's for the 7th.
Crap.
That's
I'm like, no, I
nice.
swear it's for today. And she goes, no. I said, today's not the 7th. And she's like, no. And I'm like, oh, man.
Oh,
Wow, I
no.
feel
That's
stupid. Okay.
terrible.
I'll see y'all on the 7th.
Oh, bummer.
It's like a commercial of me. That's all.
but
It's
but that'll be tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you got to
So
go
I got to
back.
go to Tulsa again
So now
tomorrow.
you have to remember to go tomorrow
Right.
because the 7th was not today, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, I was calendar challenged. Adrian knows this, what, a week and a half ago?
yes.
I mean, severely challenged, and now
Yeah.
it's
And now
passing
now
along.
now
It's
it's my turn to
contagious.
be it is my turn to be calendar challenge today because like every week we cycle through who's who and what's what and it just happened to be my week to be able to tell you events. And what all I can tell you is there are absolutely no events in May in Arkansas. None at all that I know of because I didn't do my homework. So I'm sure there is
uh,
stuff, but don't ask me because I obviously don't know. Uh, uh, I'm just like a lot of people. I get wrapped up in my own life, my own business, and all the stuff going on. I had stuff going on. I wasn't even thinking about it. So it's like,
I
oh,
understand.
whose week is it? Oh,
All
it's
right.
mine. So
So here's what we're gonna do.
I pulled a Pam.
Here's what we're
I'll
gonna.
own it.
But
I'll own
Pam didn't pull an Adrian and have stuff ready. So, uh,
Okay. So
so
I'm gonna
that's right.
I'm gonna switch weeks with you, Adrian, because mine is now next week.
Oh,
Oh, you
So
have
how
your
about
stuff. You have your stuff. So, so you're pulling an Adrian to my Pam.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
yes, we cover for each other,
we
and
that's
do.
right.
We do
Okay.
to each other. That's awesome.
so
Thank you, Ken.
oh, here we go. It's probably too late now. This weekend, Grants Farm, St. Louis, My Fest, 510, 511, 17, and 18. I think those are heights, but no, those are dates. Uh, you got to pay for parking. I think it's free. The
It's a
actual
what now?
you
Pay
have
for
to.
parking.
It's called My Fest, and it's free, but you have to pay for parking, and you have to make a reservation to pay for parking, which is
Oh,
really weird, but it's okay.
hmm,
Another thing we've got in our area that I found out a couple weeks ago was the Museum of Illusions. So
ooh.
that's kind of an interesting thing. Look at info at moistlouis.com for stuff on
Is it
that one.
really there though, or is it an illusion?
I think it is an illusion. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You walk up to it and you just run into a wall or something. And say, was that real? I don't know. I got a broken nose, but okay. Um, passenger cruises up in Hannibal. It's about an hour and a half. Yeah, about an hour and a half north of St. Louis. Mark Twain, basically the home of Mark Twain, Becky Thatcher, Molly Brown, all sorts of people up that way. Um, riverboat dockings are going to happen up there all summer long.
Cool.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, at the end of the month, we have OzCon. That's down in West Plains, Missouri. It's something about gaming, cosplay, anime, convention type stuff.
Fun.
So, yeah, it should be fun. I don't Nah, I'm not really into a lot of that stuff, but many people are. So
That's
that's
right.
Many
why
people are.
I'm telling you. So if you can go, go. That is again March. I'm sorry, not March. April 25th through 27th. Okay, this one. What is today? 6th. So we missed this one, so I'll skip that. Um, that's all I got.
That's
So
more than I had. So you did pretty good job. Good job.
that's all I have. I'm a Boy
And the next
Scout.
week I'll be like, "It's your week, Ken." Anyhow,
So I'll have to come up with a new list just in case somebody forgets.
no,
Oh, I need to go ahead and send out a reminder to somebody for next week.
for next week.
Oh, yeah, by the way, who's on
Yeah.
next week?
Yeah,
Okay,
Mike
next week.
Ricksecker.
Oh, Mike is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and who's on this week?
Adrian is on. Ken, Pam,
We're
Pam,
on.
Shaw, we are on. Woohoo!
we
That's
we
my
have we
friend.
have we it was an administrative error on our part. We
Well,
didn't contact them, and people
no.
forgot the show, so they're not prepared. So weren't prepared, but that's okay because we're always prepared for things to go awry. Why is that?
Right?
Because
Because we're a
We have
muck.
our bag.
that's exactly
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Uh, awry is just the way we roll. A.M.O.K is the name of the game. I do want to say something that has nothing to do with Arkansas or Missouri, other than you may want to travel to Oklahoma every weekend this month at the Castle Muskogee is the
Mhm.
Renaissance Fair,
Yep.
and it is a
Yep.
great Renaissance Fair.
It
So
is very
all
nice.
kinds of stuff to do. I enjoy going. We go. I don't dress up or anything like that, but I do like to go out there and just to walk around and see all the people who are dressed up. I like taking pictures and stuff. It's great. It's a great fun outing for the entire family. And so if you're anywhere around Muskogee, stop by. It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
Cool.
What we got
definitely.
for tonight, though?
Do you get to eat
What? Go
turkey
ahead.
leg? Do you get to eat turkey
Turkey
legs and
leg, drink some
If you're
ale.
lucky,
funnel cakes,
if you're lucky,
deep fried Oreos? What else is at the
It
Renaissance
is
Fair?
so busy there all the time that
it
you're standing
is.
in line for a
Yeah.
Pretty
good
much everything.
chunk of the great stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's worth it once you get it.
It's fun stuff.
Well,
I mean, we go there.
our
I like the castle. So if you've never been to for any of their events, you just don't understand. So I
I
like the
still want to go to the
Halloween
Halloween
stuff.
event. I haven't gone yet.
It's the greatest thing. Really is the greatest thing. And
well,
uh, but and that's Tina's favorite because Halloween's her favorite. That's her time of the year. Uh, but I've never gone for the Christmas thing, but we've gone every year. Uh, that we could if it wasn't like storming every weekend.
mhm.
But this weekend's supposed to be nice, so it'd be pretty good. So,
Yeah,
but
our
like we
Ren.
started to say,
Oh,
what? Who?
I was going to say our Ren fair is in September through October,
Nice.
Yeah.
and that's
So
and that's
they're pretty
about
cool.
it's about 45 minutes from here. Oh, great place, a lot of fun.
Well,
Okay, that's right.
we had Russell Reynolds supposed to be on tonight.
Yes,
We were going to
yes,
schedule him later, and so it
yes.
brought. The last time that this happened, I said, okay, well, we got to we have to have a plan in place for a thing to go sideways, and so I never fear sideways because it's like getting lost unless you have a, time limit. Getting lost is fun because you find things that way. You're like, oh, I never even knew
Right.
this was here. So it's cool, and so we're gonna do this thing here. See, it's called Paranormal Grab Bag. It's very high tech. I
Wow.
uh,
Good.
Man, we spent a lot of money on that one.
I
Oh
tell you,
Lord.
let's see Amazon do that. And
Right?
You need to draw some pictures on it, like little stick people or something.
Stickers. We need stickers.
Sticker
how do
people.
you know there's
Yes.
not? What are you saying? It identifies the stickers on the bag.
Oh, they're ghosts. They're invisible.
What I have here since it's paranormal grab bag, I have paranormal topics, and so what I do is I grab, and I don't know what I'm grabbing, and I have more than one. Hold on, more than one. Okay, So the thing is, we're coming in here unchecked,
More
uh,
technical problems.
A.M.O.K.
no. What it is? We're coming in here. What is it? Un uh, prepared. That's not the word I was looking for.
Unprepared,
Unrehearsed. Unrehearsed.
unrehersed,
Oh, there you
uncensored.
go.
Unrehearsed. That's all
Yes.
right. That's it. So what do I got? Oh my goodness! Of course, the first thing I pick out. Let's see if it shows up here. No,
Nope.
it's not going to show. It's not
It
going to show.
says
It's not going to show.
Confucius
Put your hand
says.
behind it.
It says
There you
Confucius
go.
says.
Psychic empathic ability.
Why did that have to be the first one? Oh, come on, camera, wake up, wake up. So might as well, since we got two woo woos on the thing, on the
Yep.
so it's the woo woo, the woo woo side
The
over
woo
there,
woos.
and
And then the non woo woos.
then the non woo woos, yeah. Uh, okay, I don't even see. Here's one of those things. I'll tell you where I sit with this. I
Hold on.
think there's a lot of people out there who present themselves as being psychic or empaths who just aren't. I think
Right.
I know that there are people who have that ability. I've
Yeah.
been amazed by some of the things that I've witnessed through people I've investigated with, and I've investigated with people who said they had powers. I'm like, these people are FOS. So
Yep.
so FOS, full of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Stefan.
stuff. And but so I'll tell you, there's one who's been on some of these uh, TV shows and uh, who does a lot of events, and person makes himself out as being a psychic and all this stuff. But back when I knew this person, uh, she was never psychic. But now she is, and now she presents
Oh.
itself, and
Snap.
she's got all this. And there's somebody here locally the same way. Back when
Do I know
uh,
her?
you know of, and so I
Okay.
don't know if you know. I don't know if you know, but you know of.
No, we're not
And
going to
there's
go
another
into
one who's a
names.
local person who back when I knew him, they came to my event and they had all kinds of questions. They had all kinds of conversation. Never once did they say that
They were
were
woo woo.
a psychic in any way, shape, or form at all. But now uh, it's about all the crystals and all the woo woo stuff and all. This is what I pick up from here, and so as somebody who's got abilities, how do you handle that situation? Because and we all want to be shiny happy people and get along with everybody, but how can you get along with people who are actually just making a mockery of everything?
Of what you do, of what you can feel and see and
It's so subjective, honestly, because there's, we can walk into, like, one of the people that's on my team. She has abilities, but they're different than what I have. And mine is strange, and it's all the time. That's why I say it's subjective, is because sometimes if I focus, I can hear without psychosis. It's
Mhm.
clairaudience is what it's clear hearing. Um, like if and we have been able to prove it, because if we have voice recorders going and we ask a question, and I'm like, one of the first times it was there was a ghost in a cemetery, and at one point, they ask a question. He says yes, and I was like, "Oh, cool." He said yes. Did you guys hear that? And everybody was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, maybe I didn't hear it then." And then when we got ready to leave, Jess had said, "Okay, Carl, we're going to, we're going to go. So we're going to tell you goodbye for now." And I plainly heard him say, "Don't go." And it was like, "Don't go." It was really sad. And so I was
Oh.
like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, he just said don't go." And they're all like, "Oh,
You're crazy.
you're crazy." And I was like, "Okay, whatever, I guess I just am hearing things, whatever." But when we go back, we had like 4 or 5 recorders going, and it was on the recorders. You can hear him say,
See,
"Don't go," and then you hear me say, "Oh my gosh, you guys, did you hear him?" And the same thing, he said
Oh,
yes. You can hear him say
see,
yes.
that's awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
I mean, it was
and,
proven. We were able to prove it.
yeah.
and that's a frame of mind thing too. I mean, you're
Mhm.
open to it. I know some of the people probably. I probably know some of the people that were with you, um,
Yes.
but some of them may not have been open to it, or maybe the message
Mhm.
was not for them.
Yeah. Well, and we were a very new team. We didn't know, we were just learning together, and I honestly didn't know. You know, it was
No, that's awesome. That's why you hear me talk about Anita because I worked with her a few times, and that's why at first she's telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. But then I started
Mm.
getting EVPs that matched what she was talking about, and I'm like, okay, so she's actually picking up on something. How that happens, I have no idea.
right.
But she's one of the people who told me that everybody's got this ability. You've got this ability. You can just need to focus on it. And I tried really hard, and I
Mhm.
didn't get none of that stuff. So
But
I can't. I don't know.
It doesn't always
sometimes,
work. I don't hear every voice that comes up on the recorder either. And
Yeah.
Jess can walk into a room and she'll hear, or she won't hear, but she'll sense something that I don't feel at all, don't hear at all, anything like that. So it's just, and I know Ken, that's
Well, it's
happened.
like everybody told me that I have abilities, but I don't. I mean, Pam was there when I was guessing the psychic stuff,
That
but
was cool. She got like 6 things in a row right. It was
all
the
but one.
parts with like where they got the wavy lines for
oh
like
yeah,
water, and then it's
was
got the
any
hmm
was
pyramid.
she hooked up to an electrical unit that if she got it wrong, she get zapped?
No, this was actually
Oh,
the Arkansas Expo, and it was at
Yeah,
the
the
Ghostbusters.
oh
Ghostbusters
They had
really?
big
table.
cards.
yeah.
She got
Oh,
like 6 of them in a row right, because we were all like, "Wow."
I'm just
yeah.
like, I just lucky guesses, guys. I swear.
Yeah, but 6 in a
They're
row.
like, no, you can't just do 6 in a row
Yeah.
lucky
She
guesses,
was
and I'm like,
she was
You
seeing
know,
a reflection in his big eyes. Is looking at her.
there's somebody sitting next to her going, "It's a wiggle."
right?
It was your
It's
spirit
a
guide doing it.
circle.
That's right.
Yep.
well,
Yeah, but
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
sometimes though, like Pam was just saying, it doesn't happen all the time,
Mhm.
and sometimes depending on where you're at, what the surroundings are, what's kind of happening, sometimes you tap into your because you're wanting to do something, you're not trying to force it, that it just happens. And that's probably what happened to you with those 6 in a row.
Yeah.
Could be.
Because
Same
we
with my cousin that visits me, but
all
Your
do have it.
midichlorians are just perfect at that moment.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but we
The
all do have.
waves were coming through.
That's right.
Oh, there you
uh,
go. Yeah, you were able to see right through the cards. You had that X-ray vision going.
That's what it was. I use
But
my X-ray
uh,
glasses.
Fascinating. I really do. I don't know how any of it works.
no, I don't either. But I had something similar. Was at Troy Taylor's conference. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years ago. But sitting there, and we they had a lot of um, side things we could do. So I went in, and my buddy and I went in, and we sat there for a table tipping show, basically. And everything ended up going towards me that entire time. I mean, the table tip, the dates the guy mentioned, I said, that's my dad. The
Mhm.
names, I said, my dad, blah, blah, blah. Like 5 or 6 things in a row. I said, you're talking about my dad. I know he's here. And
Mhm.
then, and then he said, that all kind of went away. But then the table tipped, everything on the table landed in my lap. And he said, okay, this is
no
kind
drink,
of,
I hope.
no, no drink. It was pretty fascinating. So then he asked. He said, "Okay, now pulled this little box out. He had 4 or 5 questions in it. Four, and it was about one of his relatives. So he asked a question and had us all write down our answers. I got 3.5 answers of the 4 correct. The only
Wow.
one,
Wow.
one was a date, one was a color, one was a name. That was the one I got half right because I said Marie and it was Mary or something like that. And then whatever the other answer was, I had no clue who this person was, and I got all 4 correct. And so it just depends. It's like you said, woo woo doesn't happen all the time for me. Some people, they're born with it and it just happens. I mean, they see it all the time,
Mhm.
but I don't, or
So,
feel.
do you ever second guess yourselves at all?
I
Constantly.
used to. I used to until Anita and Mary Van Franklin and the 5 other psychics that I knew that I feel are very good and uh, good abilities. They kept saying, "You have no idea what you can do," and what they're like, "You're glowing," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. You're a medium." I'm like, my joke for 15 years was, "No, no, no, no. I'm not a medium. I'm a 3XL." That was my joke. That was my standing joke, and they're like, "Yeah, you laugh about it right now." But then something did happen, and I'm like, "Okay, I give up. I agree. Okay, I'm a medium." But I've seen some amazing. I should say I've experienced some pretty amazing things, just like you have, Pam, and actually you guys have too.
Yeah.
So
So I know a lot of people consider it like I'll sit there, like I was telling John, the psychic that was on our show a few weeks back. I was like, I sit there and get told a lot of times, you don't want this, you don't want this. But to me, it's a big gift, and I would love to be able to do half the things Ken does. How do you guys feel about it? Do y'all feel like it's a gift, or do you feel like it's a curse?
I think it's cool. I don't know how to control it, don't know how it works, but I think it's neat when it does work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a clue how to even answer that, let's say 10 years ago. Things would happen, but I had no idea why
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But no, once I accepted the fact that I could do these things, I realized too that it's not me; it's the Holy Spirit working through my spirit. That's my focus. So and I look at it like people ask me, so Christian background. Well, you're not supposed to believe in that crap. I'm like, well, first off, you said crap, but anyway, uh, but anyway, it's like, no, no, no. What happened? What happened on Pentecost? I mean,
Yeah.
we were given, or well, the apostles were given gifts of the Holy Spirit. Why can't we have those? We're supposed to take them. We're supposed to use them for the good of others and to help them. That's what I focus on.
I think
So
the issue isn't whether the that it exists, but that it exists in such a volume as people are pretending that it is right now. It's got
yeah,
to the point to where I have a hard time believing anybody now because everybody is,
Yeah.
and or they'll say I have
Yeah.
this empathic ability because I feel like this, and if you notice every time they do that, uh, it's always something bad,
Mhm.
Right.
and so I think they're tapping into their own anxieties because they're in the dark, spooky place, and dark, spooky terribleness has happened. And I have
And there's
I have a
I
have a
look
hard
at
time like at the hospital and over here we had a lot of people in there who were psychic and they talk about things that were going on and I'm like none of that happened here. That you're talking about other facilities. None of that happened here. And then or they'll talk about this location. I'm like that's not what this location is. I know what a hospital is. I know what this is.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they uh so I see that a lot. And it's kind of that's why I say I never even when I worked with Anita, if I ever used what said, it was always a side note, not what my actual
right,
message.
not your main
A
focus.
side
Yeah.
note, we had a gifted, and this person had this to say.
Mhm.
So I'd have that, but I'd never base any of my investigations on what somebody felt.
Yeah.
Right.
That,
No,
You
I
know how
that
get
we
you.
where
did
that,
it
But
before that's kind of cool is we would be in a place and, we'd set up our home base basically, and they would uh, have one of our team members that is able to feel things, they would have her walk through and stop where she felt something specific. And then they would take her back to where we started, which is in a completely separated place, and then have me go and see where I felt anything, if I felt
yeah,
anything or whatever. And we did stop in the same spots. And that was
no,
that
that's
was
cool.
cool. Yeah.
that's corroboration there,
Exactly.
or
And that's what we were
collaborative.
looking for, was to see if
Yeah.
we could cooperate anything. But I mean, other than being useful for stuff like that, I don't know. But it does work. I mean, just not too long ago, we had a investigation, and Mike, he walks with his headphones plugged into his voice recorder, so he can hear in real time if there's an EVP that pops up. And I was just inside the front door, and there's like a little landing and then a staircase that goes straight up, and it's open. So he was about halfway up it, and I was standing there, and I heard a woman go, just, like real deep sigh. And I looked at him and he looked at me, and I said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Yes, what was it?" And I said, "A woman just sighed really loud." And he said, "That's exactly what I heard." And it's
Ghost hunters again.
exactly that was the feeling. But this was a private residence, but it was funny how it worked.
Yeah,
That's
it's
kind of
funny.
cool.
But
Now to answer, go ahead, Pam. Sorry,
I don't know what use it really is, other than cooperation on some things, for as so far as my stuff goes.
but it's a start,
It is,
and
and I have a reason
and
not
it
to
evolves,
do anything with it. So
and plus it evolves over
yeah.
time. So, but to answer one of your questions, Adrian, I think especially charlatans out there, and there's so many of them. I think it's an ego trip. They want to be noticed. They want to be the center of attention. A lot of them, and
Yes.
it's like, I'm important. You got to listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, but when people start bragging about it, about their gifts, and they talk about them all the time and say, "Well, I can do this," and blah 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 blah,
Mhm.
that is a key for me that says, "Oh, you're full of baloney."
You're full of
You know,
shoot.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're just full of baloney. You know,
Especially when they start raking in a lot of money doing it.
I
Then
know
absolutely.
one that I have followed a long time and met at in Kentucky, and I think he is, and I'm gonna say he is FOS. But anywho, I wanted to get to, like, back in the day, like, one of the key psychics that were out there, the Warrens. What do
Mm-hmm.
you think about her ability?
I
Who knows?
I knew you were going to ask that. Hold on. No, no, okay, that's bad. Um, I think she really did have abilities,
something she had something,
and
but
she didn't flaunt it.
No.
People, she pushed it away a lot. According
And
to
she helped a
stories.
lot of people with it. Well, according to the stories, he tried to get her to chill out a little bit with it because it was starting to hurt her.
Yeah, yeah. I does
But
movies.
but no, it's just researching it.
No,
But it's crazy because
there's
some of
so
the
much
stuff
good
that
and so
she
much bad
supposedly
that's
had.
good. Yeah. There's so much both ways on her. It's hard to say, honestly. I don't
Well,
I
she was clairvoyant. What
mhm.
was something else? A clairvoyant
clair,
medium, right?
Yeah.
clairsentient, clairsentient.
Clairvoyant psychic medium, I think, something like
Yeah,
that. I can't remember exactly what her title was. We
but
could ask Russell when he comes.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the more I hear these stories and different things. Like I said, I judge how humble is this person.
Mhm.
Now, you guys brought it up that Adrian actually brought it up that I was woo woo. But I don't say it all the time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I try, and for me, I believe that I will be able to do this as long as I give credit where credit is due and stay as humble as possible. And when I do that, and if I just happen to focus or just focus really intently on listening to a story, I can actually see what was happening at the time that they're talking about.
That's cool.
So, but I really have to focus. I mean, just really pay attention and listen to every word. But sometimes it'll just pop up. But I don't flaunt that and say, "Oh, guys, yeah, there's somebody over there." I mean, I might say that. I think there's somebody there,
Mhm.
but I usually don't say anything until somebody asks, "What do you think, Ken?"
Well,
So,
you don't on the
Yeah.
door and be like, "Okay, I'm here. Let me tune in."
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Let me
So,
You
fix
don't,
my
you don't have
hair
an
and make sure I look good before I.
you don't have an entourage
no.
around you, and yeah. Anyhow,
I mean,
Well,
is
no, we
that?
say
I
all
mean,
that, but there is one person out there that has gone on many, many shows. She's absolutely amazing. She's a sweetheart, and that's Patty Negri. And a lot of people want to sit there and down this woman, but I've seen a lot of stuff that she's done that it just cannot be explained. And she is actually she's she does go out and she does do all this stuff and she does get paid for it, but at the same time, she's not what's the word I'm looking for? She's not egotistical about it. She is a
flamboyant.
It's different.
right. She's
Hmm.
a very, very sweet lady, and she is more than willing to give her time up to talk to anybody about anything.
That's cool.
And
Hmm.
I have actually grown to really admire her and adore her because she is just like this tiny little lady that I just want to hug. She's so
you
sweet.
You know,
But yeah, I
think she
believe
knows
there's a
that?
lot of does. That I wanna hug her? I told her
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet
Oh
her in
yeah, she
person.
knows.
I'm gonna give
She
her a big
knows
ol'
it.
hug. I'm sure she does.
Yeah, she already knows it. No.
we were at a
Uh,
residence in Independence, Kansas, and we were doing it wasn't nobody lived there, and it was the owner rented this place out, and she was between renters, but there was some activity, so she was like, "Hey, if you guys want to go check it out, you can, do that a few times if you want." We were like, "Okay, cool." So we had really just started doing the Estes method, you know, pretty pretty regularly when we would go to places. And so I was doing it. And, when you do it, your senses are dulled. Basically, you
Yeah.
can't hear, you've got sound canceling headphones on, you can't see. So all you hear is white noise because we put the SB7 in your ear, switching through things. So you don't know if when they're asking questions, if they're asking questions or anything like that. And so I'm saying what I hear. And I don't remember what I said for sure, but when we got done, they were like, "Okay, you didn't answer a single question that we asked." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that was a big fail then." And they're like, "No, you were holding this really strange conversation. You were hearing a conversation between people. And so we need to do some more research and see what we can find out about what you were saying." Because I was talking about basically I can't remember exactly what it was, but it ended up, we found out later, we went to the library to do some research, found out that there were race riots in Independence, Kansas that we didn't know about. And that I had said something about swinging off of a railroad bridge or something like that. We found out that that did happen. We had no clue about any of this. And that it did say that they had been buried in mass graves somewhere, but that they couldn't
Oh my
talk about it.
god.
So, and that part, I don't know. We never did find out if that was true or not. But the other stuff we didn't know about. And they were at the library, the historical room. They were able to give us the info on it that we didn't know. So it's pretty wild.
That is wild.
Isn't that
Yeah.
great? Great when you know nothing about the history or any of the facts, and you get all of this detail from either a spirit box or Estes method or
Mhm.
whatever, or just anything, and then you go to the owners or whatever, like for example, the next morning, and they start telling you stories, and it corroborates with what you learned from the
Yeah.
spirits the night before.
Yeah.
That has happened to me and a few people, friends of mine, numerous times, and it's like, this is absolutely amazing that we learned the story from a spirit and not from you, but you just told us that validated what we heard
Hmm.
6, 7, 8 hours before that. That is
Missouri State
amazing.
Pen, when we were at that
Yeah.
Airbnb, do you remember that? And I caught some
Yeah.
names. And when we were looking at the history of the house, we found out that the names matched. That was
Yeah,
cool.
Oh,
yeah.
that was amazing because I was
Mhm.
hearing stuff. Y'all were hearing stuff.
And
And
you
it
were
was
sound,
just,
and you were sound asleep when we were
I
hearing
was
noise.
asleep when they were hearing noises.
We
I
were hearing
was
bangs,
out.
Mhm.
furniture moving, and it's like, what the hell is Shaw doing up there?
Yeah.
But she wasn't even in that corner. We found out later on because
No.
the
Nope.
bed was in the opposite corner of that room
Yeah.
upstairs. It's
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, that was really crazy.
Yeah, like right in that corner is where the stairs to the attic is and the bathroom that's right next to it. That
Mhm.
was
Now
where
somebody was using
everything
the
Oh,
was.
excuse me.
bathroom a lot. So,
Yeah. It was loud. Pretty
I'm
but
loud.
pretty
yeah,
sure once I do the review on that, because I haven't done the review yet, but once I do the review on that, there's going to be a lot of noises going on.
Probably.
Yeah,
Because I was the only
I'll
one up
say
there
that
when everybody else was downstairs.
Hmm.
I'll say that as a team, we started backing off investigations because uh, we were competing, if you want to call it that, because we don't make any money. I can care less if I do an investigation or not. I we we were competing with teams who were putting themselves out as being these psychic uh, powerhouses. And like I say, one of them I knew for a fact didn't have any kind of ability at all. Uh, but they put it out there, so teams, clients want that instant gratification and be able to have answers. And like, we'll go do an investigation. I don't have anything to prove to you. I don't have anything to show you. I didn't get anything. We
Hmm.
saw a shadow. What is that? I don't know. Could be. So that's what we get. But
They
or
have the
you get
stuff.
some team who comes in there and go, "Oh, it's Timmy. He fell down the stairs and he
Well,
broke his neck
2 4 and a half,
down
and you
here."
go get
There's no history to really back that up, but you can't prove or disprove it because they just say it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, my house is hinted. Timmy broke his neck. The lady in the scarf said so." I'm like, okay, there you go.
yeah, it's now proof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
For them, because
but yeah, yeah,
that's what they wanted.
yeah. A lot of teams that I've heard of. I won't say. Yeah, I can't generalize because I don't know everybody out there, but uh, there are teams that will present no evidence, just what their psychic felt, and
Yeah,
they'll
no.
say so that are haunted.
What's the
And I'm
purpose?
like, you've got no evidence, you have somebody's opinion. "Oh, they're psychic." I'm like, "Sure they are.
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't mean they're
I
right.
got wing." Yeah,
No,
so
not every.
I
I've
don't
never
know.
met a psychic that's 100% right 100% of the time, ever.
Nope.
No,
Well, and Anita will say that she's not
yeah,
right all the time
Hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah.
because the way it comes to her, she can misinterpret so she don't know. So, she is right more times than she's not,
Right. Yeah.
but still, she's like, "Yeah, all she can tell you is what she thinks."
So, have you
So, and
guys
I
ever investigated anywhere that you felt like they wanted you there to prove a haunting so they could capitalize on it?
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yes,
We have to.
It's
yes.
like you're not there for that. You're there to get the
No.
spirit stories, to talk to them, to yes, maybe get a little bit of evidence to show yes, you were actually speaking with a spirit or that spirit was actually there.
And
But
I'm
at
big
the
on
same time, if you're doing it for a personal residence, you're doing it to help that family and you're
yeah,
doing it to
exactly.
help the kids that are involved if there are any kids involved.
Hmm.
But no, I knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
And sometimes it got so ingrained in them that they were at the point of wanting to kick other people out of the groups. And it's like, no, what is wrong with you?
I turned down one. I just refused to do it. We, our team, the owners wanted to meet with the team, so we all went out to eat, and started off pleasant. By the time before we even got to the dinner, um, I had asked, I guess, the wrong question because the couple wanted to turn this into a party,
Oh no.
and they wanted
Oh,
to investigate. They wanted to turn it into a party. They wanted to invite the whole neighborhood. And when we were doing this stuff, and I'm like, no, we don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Well, and then the woman got belligerent and started cursing out loud. It's in the middle of a restaurant and cursing me out. She said, well, I'll work with everybody else, but not you. And I said, you know what? I took my book, I folded up, I said, you guys enjoy your dinner. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And I left. And then
wow.
I found out about probably a couple minutes later that my friends, I'm outside the door, and all of a sudden my friends are out there with me. They're like,
Yeah.
no, we said no, and we all left.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
which,
I won't take that. It's not like you're not paying me to be
Mhm.
there.
no,
No.
So
it's,
No.
yeah, I'm here to help you out. I'm here to do this as basically as a favor. Uh because really after I've been doing it for so long, although I enjoy doing it, it's still work.
It
Uh,
is
oh yeah,
and
exhausting.
It is a lot of
the
work.
investigation part is fun. That's fine. I can do
Mhm.
that. But if you get, it's not an investigation until you do the review.
the,
And
Reviews.
until you
the
reviewed your stuff,
paperwork.
all you're doing is looking at a building. So, uh,
Yeah,
Yep.
uh, so all I look at as a 2 hour investigation is like 12 hours of work after that. And
yeah.
so, come on, if you're gonna be rude to me, screw it. I'm gonna go and not have to put myself through this work because
Oh,
I've
Joe.
already seen enough. I've seen enough in my lifetime. So I don't, if I don't see something tonight, I don't care. I'll go
What are the
home
honestly, what are
and
the odds of catching
I'll eat me
something in
a
a 2 hour,
pickle. I'll be happy.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do
What
I
are the
now?
odds of
But
catching something in a 2 hour time frame that if you're only there for a
Right.
Right?
couple of hours, it's not on demand.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, they're not
We're
target
really heavy
performers.
Well,
research wise too, so I like the historical portion. So
Yeah,
digging into the history of the place afterwards, that's always cool.
yeah.
yeah. Well,
well, when we started doing houses, we did what I call it was basically a paranormal biopsy. And what we would do is we would uh, uh, the client would tell me their story. They'd tell me what's going on. I'm like, okay. We'd set up the equipment however we did, and we'd answer our questions. But we'd probably a house would generally take us about 2 to 3 hours.
Mm.
And if if we're not experiencing anything, if it'll go as long as we're experiencing stuff. But generally, a house would last about 2 to 3 hours, and I call that a paranormal biopsy. I said I'd get whether I got something or didn't get something. I would present it to the client, and if you want us to come back, we could do a deeper investigation. But even if we got EVPs and stuff like that, we was able to provide some answer to them. They never called us back for the longer, in-depth one. We had maybe 2 clients that had us back a couple times,
Mhm.
and, but most of them are happy with what we got them.
Yeah.
The ones that we didn't get anything, we's actually able to explain what they experienced, or what you had was this and this and this, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not crazy." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, you're not."
Yeah.
No.
that's what
So
I that's what I went into when I was doing the personal investigations residential, and I did maybe 30 or 40 of them over a few years. But my whole goal was to, they would tell me the stories, what's going on, and my goal would be to go in and either try to find something or calm their fears.
Mhm.
And I got to the point where I didn't even have to go to the place anymore. I could just make a phone call. I'd call them up to make arrangements and start talking to them. And by the time the phone conversation was over, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours later, whatever, they were already calmed down. I said, I already know what's kind of going on, and this is what you need to do. I don't think anybody really needs to come out there. But if you do this um, and look at it this way, you're probably going to have no problems at all because I don't sense anything bad. And I think I told everybody on our show a couple times. My basic questions were, with one question, I could figure out pretty much what was going on.
Hmm.
Things are being thrown. Okay,
Mm.
great. Things are being moved. I'm like, great. Are things being thrown at you or near you? That answer told me every single thing I needed to know. And I would project that back to them. I would give them my answer. I said, this is what I think is going on. If it's near you, they're trying to get your attention because they've got something they need to tell you or they feel like they need to tell you. If it's being thrown at you, we'll be out there soon.
Yeah,
Because that is different. That is a
Yeah.
different
I'm telling
situation.
you, it was a demon. It was a black figure that walked across my living room. It was a demon.
It was a demon.
Well,
Why?
Extra shine
Why?
demon.
Why was it a demon? It was black figure,
yeah.
and I was
Okay.
scared.
Adrian,
Demon. I'm like,
it's
no.
pretty funny, Adrian, but I've heard it that way before.
I have
Exactly
too.
what you just said.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
I think we all have if we've been doing this for any amount of time.
Yep.
But
Yeah. The
Oh
first
gosh.
thing out of their mouth is, "Oh my god, it's a demon." No, it's not.
Yeah,
There's
it's
been,
as soon as they say that, I say,
well,
you've been
why
you've
do you
been
think it's a
watching
demon?
TV.
Because I was scared.
You've been
yeah,
watching TV.
yeah,
So
been watching too much. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, Pam, you
No
were going to
show.
say something.
What was I going to say? Oh, probably 97 to 98% of the time that we go out anywhere, we do our initial talk to the people and then do the walkthrough. And, it's like I said, 97 to 98% of the time, it's something physical in the house, meaning it's
Yeah,
there's an EV and EMF leak, and that's usually what it
yeah,
is, honestly.
yes,
We ran into gas leaks in a couple of places, 2 or 3
Yep.
places,
Yep.
stuff like that. Doors need tightened because they're swinging funny, things
yeah.
like that. But yeah, uh, EMF leaks is probably the biggest thing that we ran into because that'll make you feel weird, feel like somebody's
It makes me
watching.
feel weird. I'm
Yeah,
sensitive to high levels of EMF, and
absolutely.
EMF poisoning. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
make
we
me
were doing an
think.
investigation. We were doing an investigation once, and I'm in a closet, uh, in a room, just not really just investigating the closet. There wasn't much of a room, and it's one of those. It was just open closet, no doors on it,
Funny.
and so I'm
Oh.
just stepping back out of the way of everybody else, and I'm like, I'm feeling weird. Something to my back. Something. There's something on my back, and on the other side of the wall was a refrigerator, and
Yeah,
it was like cranking out like 160 gals
Yeah.
or
yeah,
milligals, and I was
milligas.
like, well, yeah, okay, that's a problem. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
Yeah.
come out of the closet, Adrian.
I was
Hey.
I was going to say that. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. I've been waiting to
that's
say
funny.
that. That's awesome. So let me ask you this: we're talking about woo woo type stuff here. So have any of you guys, using your senses, ever gone into a place and said, "No, I'm not supposed to be here. I gotta go."
We have.
We should have.
Um,
Yeah,
there's one that I should have, and that was actually Ashmore Estates when I was on the 3rd floor. But other than that,
we
Okay,
have.
I
We've
was
we've
I
seen them over too.
I don't think you have to be sensitive to feel
no,
certain things,
no,
and because I don't think I'm sensitive, no matter what Anita says, because I've tried really hard. I don't think I'm sensitive, but there are things that will impose upon you,
Mhm.
and and it don't matter because I think ghosts, although they're spiritual, I think they can be a physical thing as well.
Mhm.
okay. Well, see, my point on that is that you don't have to be woo woo or classify yourself as woo woo if you're using your senses and you feel that. That is, I mean, that is a type of psychic ability. and you've experienced it then, so it's not totally foreign to you. Does
Yeah,
that make
but
does that make
Tina
sense?
Tina is really good that way because Tina, she's hypersensitive. She's not as
Okay.
sensitive, but when she's when
She had
she's
good way.
in
Yep.
yeah, she's very observant.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
and she's got great hearing. I do not. She has great hearing, so it's like over there. I saw that move. So you can, if Tina sees it, you can bank. She saw something that direction. She's really good at that.
Okay.
Uh,
So very
but she's
detail
not sensitive.
oriented. Yeah. Okay.
Very detail oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But still, it is a sense, and I think psychic ability is, it's one of the
It's another
senses.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beyond your normal senses.
that
Hmm.
So
makes
Yeah.
sense.
doesn't that make sense? Yeah, there you
So
go.
much sense.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 pennies. There's my sense.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, but up. That's right. 2 bits. I actually had a
No,
spirit
That was a good one.
say that 2 bits before. It was great.
I think-
So, but no,
Yeah,
I guess,
it was
we're
amazing.
trying to talk about, psychic abilities and woo woo ness, or whatever you guys want to call it. Um, so that's why I brought that up, because we all have the capability. It's just,
that's what Nita says.
do you accept it or do you not? I didn't for a long time. Like
Well,
I
by
said,
God, I have been accepting it, but no,
But not
like I
the
accepted too
but
And that's it
sometimes,
with me because Anita said, I'm so skeptical, I can't even believe myself. And that's not true because I really wanted it. I really tried to do it. And I did everything she told me to and 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 tried. And then after on this side of this what I went through, I'm really afraid to open myself up for anything. So
Yeah,
uh I could be it could be partial blame on me because yeah, I am
PTSD.
not I'm yeah, I'm not gonna go through that again.
no, and that makes sense. I mean, that perfectly makes sense, because, if you've got a major negative experience, um,
hmm
I can see where it would hinder everything. It's like, oh no, never again,
Yep.
Yeah.
never again. So,
So,
Yep.
question for everybody. So you've heard the saying, if you stare into the abyss stares back. Do you believe that? Like, if you put yourself out there, are you more likely to be noticed by something nefarious?
Uh,
I think
now
intention comes out.
Adrian might
no,
be different,
in
but I don't think so.
Uh,
but based on past experiences, you might.
Hmm.
But no, I don't see that. But I think it's all based on your intention. Why are you looking into the
that's
abyss?
what I said. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said something nefarious, and it wouldn't have to be. I mean, because you hear, like, Ken, you were saying that you've been told that you just glow, you know, so whoever can see that, or maybe you can be seen by that as being more attractant to whatever's out there.
Once you accept it and you're open to it and fully accepted, embraced it,
Hmm.
I think you're like a glowworm, man. You're out there. I mean, you're glowing like a
A
to
glowworm. I like that.
like a glow. Yeah,
Yeah.
to like a.
It's a shining.
Well, there you go. It's a shining.
Shining.
Just I leave all axes at home. So, uh,
Oh God, here's Kenny.
uh, let me get really close.
Head through the door. That's funny.
But
Yeah,
but no, I think you do glow because they start taking notice of you. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like people are always. I listen to Spirit Box. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. With that type of ITC stuff, I think that's what it's called. And this, my name is said over radio a
Mhm.
lot.
We've heard
So,
it.
and it's like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just nonstop. So I just, hey, how you doing? Thanks
Mhm.
for saying my name or whatever. But I think spirits do get attracted to you. Once you accept it, once you open yourself up to it, and you believe it, which I didn't for a long time. Yeah. my 3XL. That was my comment
I
for.
don't know. I don't know if I've told you guys this. I kind of think I have. But 3 or 4 years ago, I had gone into the doctor. I had problems with my neck. So they did an MRI to see what was up with my neck. And my neck was fine, but as an aside, they found a arachnoid cyst, and it's right in the very center of my brain, and it pushes on my hypothalamus.
In the arachnoid
And
space.
right, and
Yeah.
so and it made sense of why I have an issue with being able to smell things. It's because it hinders my ability to smell. But
Yeah.
and they don't want to mess with it because it could cause more damage trying to drain it than anything, and it'd probably fill right back up anyway. But so immediately I go to Google and start Googling it, to see what it's all about and everything. And one of the things that I ran across was other people saying, "Hey, do you have spidey senses?" kind of thing. And I was like, "That's
Oh.
interesting. I wonder if that has anything with anything, or would it just maybe be
Well,
a genetic thing, or who
you're
knows?"
saying you're saying it could possibly be some form of brain damage.
Right?
Oh
Exactly.
Great.
yeah.
Yeah. Who
or
knows? I don't
Or,
know.
or
Well.
short
to
circuit.
to kind of expand on what I was saying, with you saying that if you like stare into the abyss stares back. The
Mhm.
thing about ghost hunting is a lot of people say, well, they don't see ghosts, but they've never been ghost hunting. And you go ghost hunting, you start putting yourself in that situation, then you start encountering these spirits because after a while you get to know what you're looking at. And then you're like, oh, there's this, there's that. Same thing. You're looking for evil, you're going to find it because you're constantly looking
Yeah.
for that evil. That's where that intention comes in. Uh,
Hmm.
Ghost hunting could be fine. Don't go in there looking for trouble because trouble can find you, and it's
Mhm.
going to be
and
far more than you think you can deal with.
and it actually
Yeah.
The
will.
uh, love doing this. It's a lot of fun. I do think I'm at the end of days of doing it. I get in dark. My head starts spinning around. Uh, so we'll see how I do this week because I'm looking forward to this. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Next week is going to be who's on next week?
Mike Ricksecker.
Mike Ricksecker. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
And I got to try to work out a time frame because I can't host it next week.
That's
I will be on the
right.
road.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
so if I'm in, I'll be via my phone, and and we're gonna be playing it by ear. But I've met Mike, so it'd be fun to talk to him. I know he's up to a lot of fun stuff, and it'll be
Oh, he is. He just went to
I
Turkey or Egypt or
He's
something.
been in
Some
Egypt.
he
He's
is
been
a
in
yeah.
Turk.
Egypt.
He's gone to Egypt. Yeah,
Yeah, been in Egypt for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Well, I know he was just on the plane like a couple of weeks ago, heading back out there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That,
He's
yeah,
and that's
do.
cool. A lot of great adventures, and
yes, he
that's awesome.
does.
Because we can get all the things that we want. We can buy stuff. I mean, whatever. But adventure
Yep.
and life
Boots on the
things what
ground.
you need to chase after because that's what you're going to remember as you get older.
Yeah.
So I
Exactly.
have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So so come back next week. We'll actually have
Yes,
guests.
we
What is it?
will, because I'm gonna send him
Julie
a invite or
Julie wants
a
to pick your brain
reminder.
sometime, Pam.
Oh, okay.
So anyhow, next
Bye,
week,
Julie.
All
Mike
right.
Ricksecker.
Bye,
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
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 If I can find the thing.
See you
Oh,
guys.
layers. No, there it is. All right. All right. End credits. Roll them. Oh.
Now.
I push a button, I swear.